Hello ladies and gents, it's EZScape, and welcome to Swag Strats and Speedrunning Part 2. Along with Swag Strats, these videos will also contain YOLO strats, which are equally cool strats, but are either incredibly risky strats that are likely to kill a run, or are a very precise trick you'll probably only ever see someone perform once. If you haven't seen the first video in the series, make sure to check it out after this one, and I hope you all enjoy.
God damn, I'm a fucking god. Holy shit. That took like 3 tries.
Alright, so this is probably going to require some explaining. In SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom, there exists a glitch called cruise boosting, which is the result of inputting a bubble bowl and cruise bubble on the same frame while walking against a wall, which stacks additional speed onto SpongeBob. This allows the runner shift to be able to reach this nut in Sandy's dream with a frame perfect bubble bash, and also allows him to ride backwards on the slide as long as he keeps doing frame perfect jumps to not get turned back around. The thing is, by taking this route, there are still a few socks left on the opposite side of the level. So of course the next logical step would be to teleport SpongeBob to the other side, right? Well, this is easier said than done. Shift accomplishes this by using a task-only trick called Swinger's Bull Boost Jump. After collecting the sock by the oil rig and falling off the ledge, Hans will pick SpongeBob up and place him back in bounds. By bowling on the first available frame after respawning, the game will transfer all of the momentum that would be stored from transferring SpongeBob from the beginning of the level to the checkpoint by the sock, which translates to over 30,000 speed. And for reference, walking is only 5 speed. Then Shift basically uses the skull as a ramp, allows himself to fall for a period of time to avoid the manure trucks, then continues on and cancels the momentum once he gets close to Alamo Island to pick up the spatula and the remaining socks, and also skipping having to pay the clam to gain access to the area. The funny thing is, sometime after this glitch was found, a new trick was discovered which allows for extremely fast shiny object farming, which is now a key part of the run. So paying for the clam isn't even a big deal anymore, so it really doesn't save time, making it a true swag strat. The next trick is called Scarab to Scarab in Halo 3. For an unknown reason, during the mission The Covenant, whenever you destroy one of these 2 scarabs whilst they are still in their landing animation, for a split second the game will teleport the scarab out of the map and then fling it back in immediately, allowing you to gain enough speed to reach the other scarab. The invincibility equipment obtained earlier in the level from this brute chieftain is necessary for this trick because it will allow you to live while hitting an object at a really fast speed, which in this case would be the walls on and inside of the scarab you're flying towards, assuming you even get launched towards it in the first place. But you can still die even with the invincibility equipment from moving too fast, but it does lower the chance of it happening greatly. The whole step-by-step process is essentially land on the first scarab, destroy the core's shield, fall out of the scarab, then throw a spike grenade at the core. Next, activate invincibility, and if it all goes correct, you'll be able to land onto the other scarab instantly.
Scarab!
The next game on this list is Need for Speed Carbon. In this game, there's a lot of geometry which can flip your vehicle over, but it isn't very common to perform a full 360 barrel roll. Most of the time you'll just get flipped over and land on the top of the card or on its side, losing a lot of time. But the speedrunner George has managed to find a consistent barrel roll in this race Augustini Avenue. The track geometry below the sculpture can force the vehicle to jump slightly early on the right side, which under the right circumstances can allow for a barrel roll. The car being driven on this race is the Lotus Elise, and it's a smaller car, which makes it much easier to flip over. But no matter how you do it, the barrel roll will lose time, but it looks awesome and can make for some pretty hype moments in a marathon setting.
Spot, and the Elise has a tendency, the track geometry just works out, but the Elise can actually barrel roll on this, so let's see if it happens. That'd be so cool. Oh my god, I'm done, highlight, let's go.
In Super Mario 64, wall kicks are one of the most difficult tricks to pull off consistently, despite being a basic mechanic. Pretty much any wall in the game can be used to perform one. Here's a great example of one being used for a swag strat performed by Momo during this race in a league match.
Dusted his way through time moving clock. He is in control right now. He is in his... Wow!
What the heck was that? Wow!
I haven't seen that one like ever, I don't think.
I don't have enough coins. I'm missing one. Plus that one I just hopped over. Okay, I know what to do.
Breath of the Wild is a fantastic speed game, and my favorite aspect has always been the launches. From even the most rudimentary launches like stasis launching to the newly discovered bomb impact launch. This trick has already been heavily covered by a handful of content creators, so I'll leave some video links in the description if you guys are looking for some more information. During these launches, you can add a little bit of swag during them, so I messaged a speedrunner Limcube to see what all he had, and he sent me a ton of clips from various players from across the world, so here they are. I'll leave some captions so you guys know what kind of launches they are, as well as what tricks they are adding. Also, these videos might be a little low quality because of Twitter compression, but still, they are pretty sick. In Jak 2 and 3, you gain access to the jet board, which allows Jak to hover above the ground, execute sharp maneuvers, perform aerobatics, and grind on edges. It's a relatively slow vehicle that relies on compound speed buildup by performing tricks and fluid maneuvers to maintain swift forward movement. These tricks are executed by pressing one of the shoulder buttons and holding a direction on the left analog stick. Every time you do a trick mid-air, you gain a little bit of height. Also, it's possible to cancel one trick into another to do two tricks, which will gain you more height and distance from the initial jump. By executing an L1 trick halfway to the left or right, it's possible to be cancelled with a full upwards trick by simply moving the left stick up, or instead down for a downwards trick. This results in a hover glitch, which puts the jet board in a state that allows you to cancel tricks infinitely instead of just once. And since each trick gains a little bit of height, you'll also be able to hover upwards infinitely. While doing this, it's also possible to do a swag strat called the swag hover. Instead of infinitely hovering upwards normally, you can hold the other shoulder buttons at the same time to do different tricks while ascending. It's also possible to switch which trick you're doing mid-hover for extra swag, but doing so makes it possible to mess up inputs and lose a hover, especially trying to switch from an upwards trick to a downwards trick. While the hover glitch is an important strategy for Jak 2 speedrunning, the swag hover saves the exact amount of time the hover glitch does, however it is more difficult, making it the perfect flashy trick to perform mid-run. In Super Mario World, there's a cool trick called Yump, and is a specific jump that can be performed on the large switches in the switch palaces. Mario is able to jump off the switch only on the frame it is pressed, making this a frame-perfect trick. This trick is so ridiculous that there is actually a speedrun category called Walljump, in which the goal is to navigate to a switch palace as fast as possible, and the run ends when you yump the large switch. Surprisingly, there are quite a few speedruns in this category, and the world record time currently stands at 1 minute, 20 seconds, and 650 milliseconds, one frame faster than the second place time. The next trick on this list is the Homo Ball. It's a swag strat invented and named by a Hollow Knight speedrunner named Homothety. It's a trick that combines the properties of the game's dashing mechanics and the fireball spell. When performing a dash, the game doesn't allow you to dash again immediately, and you are forced to wait roughly 1 second before being able to perform one again. For example, if you dash off a platform, you can dash once in the air before you have to land again to be able to regain the dash. However, when you use the fireball spell in the air, your character is suspended in place for the duration of the spell. With all of this knowledge combined, we can now do the trick. An example of it being performed is during a specific section of the level Crystal Peaks. You dash off of a platform, fire a fireball immediately after the dash ends to stall the timer to get the dash back, to then dash again. Essentially, this lets you chain 2 dashes together without losing any airtime in between. Usually this trick is performed over a huge pit of spikes, and although it hardly saves time, it looks really cool. Super Mario Bros. 1 is arguably one of the most difficult games to achieve a top time in. While this game is challenging to speedrun, it's reached a point where the high-level community has mastered the strategies in such a way that they began to add artificial difficulty by often executing completely unnecessary movement during their speedruns. An example of this is swag coins in level 4-1. This level is pretty straightforward, but some runners like to collect a group of coins that require precise timing. By jumping over the piranha plants and laying down on the backside of the pipes, you can collect 4 coins while maintaining top speed with Mario. There are 2 instances of this pattern, so runners may execute this strategy back to back. There are quite a few other examples of strategies like this. The runner Kosmic, who is an ex-world record holder for Super Mario Bros. 1, created a splice warpless demonstration showing them off. Some of my favorites being the difficult backwards pipe jump in 6-2, and these really cool cheap kills in 7-3. A perfect example of a swag strat being used would be in Tavinweb's world record run, where he jumps off the backside of a pipe in level 8-4. Had Tavin jumped a frame or 2 earlier during this section, he would have died and lost the run. Fortunately he didn't, and he achieved a new world record with the riskiest decision possible. In Mario Kart Double Dash, it's possible to drive your character's cart sideways. Although this sounds simple, it's a little complicated and often barely saves time when pursuing optimized runs. This is done by combining 2 techniques called sideways boosts and ATEX. For sideways boosts, if you hold a drift that faces the left side and release it without holding a direction, you will go straight to where you're facing. However, if you hold left on the analog stick while executing left face mini turbos, your cart will go in the opposite direction. Similarly, if you execute a right facing mini turbo and hold right on the analog stick, your cart will go in the left direction. ATEX are performed by releasing the A button and repressing it when you start a drift. This makes you go in a straighter line if done correctly, otherwise your cart juts out further away from the optimal racing line when linking mini turbos back to back. Luckily, extensive ATEX still allows your overall speed to be maintained, which is crucial for the strat to work. When the strat first got found, it was used as a personal preference to take certain corners slightly differently. But quickly after runners realized the potential in this strat, the sideways strategy started getting used to maintain better lines and optimize cornering. On screen is a brief example of the current Baby Park 7-lap world record, with the sideways strategy versus the former world record before the strategy was discovered. This strat ended up saving over a second on the 7-lap world record, which is a huge margin for such a short track. Alright everybody, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to leave a like, as it's the best way to show support. Special thanks to EZScape for helping out with this video, as well as everyone else who submitted clips. Anyways guys, that's all I have to say. Subscribe for more speedrunning related content, and as always, I hope you all have a beautiful life.